Hey everybody, it's Chainsaw Reacts back once again at the reaction for guys. Take us course to continue the journey of Transformers Prime. This is Season 2, Episode 2, Orion Pax, Part 2. Now, I'll be honest with you. The opening of this season, of course, focusing on Megatron believing he's Orion Pax and he doesn't remember that he's a Prime. I think this episode, like Episode 1, was overall okay. Like, it wasn't amazing, but it had some interesting elements for sure in terms of all the lies that Megatron was telling Orion Pax. And how it's Lord Ratchet that's in all this nonsense and stuff, and look what happened to Cybertron because of him. And like, I'll fight with you, Megatron. It's like, whatever. So they're using Orion to basically go through some Autobot like files that need to be decoded, and none of the Decepticons know how to do it. And then of course at the end of the episode, and we've been waiting for this. At some point, Starscream is going to make a return. Like, he went on his own. He had no affiliation with anything anymore. And now, of course, in this episode, he ends up showing up, and he runs into Orion Pax Optimus. And that's the ending. That's the cliffhanger. Because literally, it was addressed a little bit earlier. Where is Starscream? And then Megatron's like, he unfortunately passed away. He died. And then he just left. No explanation or whatever. Just like, blah, blah. Now he's there. So there's a lot of confusion now that's going to come into play. Because now, okay, I thought Starscream was dead. So I wonder what Starscream's whole plan is. Like, what is his, like, what was he doing on the ship? Like, why'd he come back? That's a major risk. But I'm excited because I know the episode 1 was like really like set up for some crazier stuff to happen, and clearly that's what they're doing here with Starscream returning into the fold. So without further ado, let's get into now Season 2, Episode 2 of Transformers Prime, Orion Pax, Part 2. Let's go.
Optimus Prime?
Well, I mean, yes.
Please, I mean no harm. I do not understand. And why did you call me Optimus Prime? You are Starscream.
You are, the way he said that, you are Starscream.
Lord Megatron told me you had been terminated.
You truly are being kept in the dark, aren't you?
Oh, what is he gonna tell him?
Starscream, surrender.
Starscream! That was pointless. Okay, he's out of there. Bye-bye.
Long-range GPS activated.
Oh.
I have doubts whether my recalibrations have successfully extended ground bridge range.
They're gonna test it on a toy car. Alright. Oh.
There's this thing in gym class where you have to climb a rope all the way to the ceiling. When I told B about it, he believed in me, which made me practice a ton.
What does any of this have to do with gym class?
I was just...
Orion. I'm here to tell more lies.
Starscream was my most trusted lieutenant. Until
Well,
he turned traitor and joined the Autobots. Perhaps it's best to forget the entire incident and return to your project.
forget.
Orion was never very adept at the art of deception. I made a mistake not terminating Starscream when I had the opportunity. You alright?
He's disappointed. He's defeated, feels like,
Let's just get you to the next quadrant.
Optimus?
Starscream. I knew it.
I have obtained information regarding your leader.
Oh, he reached out a desperate attempt because he's dying. Okay.
Have sympathy. I'm leaking here.
I mean, it's kind of hard to have sympathy.
Quickly.
Where is he?
Where do you think? He's on
With Megatron.
Megatron's warship.
Which is located where? You wouldn't go to the trouble of calling me here unless you had information to trade. We're wasting our time.
Exactly. He's telling you what you already know. So, like,
You can't just leave me like this.
yes, they can. 100%.
Unless you know where Megatron's hiding his space bridge.
Do you mean to tell me that they actually finished building it without my supervision?
He's lucky that he knew where the space bridge was. Oh, there you go.
Here. Do we have a consensus?
Do we know
We'll
if
have to
people can
agree
even
with
breathe
this?
your atmosphere?
Mom, I know that this is hard, but Optimus risked his life to save our planet.
And he has to risk
And he's
his.
not even human.
Yeah.
When you were little, you always wanted to be an astronaut?
Now you can.
Optimus Prime.
He's looking it up.
Oh, someone is not telling the truth.
He's figuring it out slowly but surely.
Bridge directly. Once we secure the space bridge, we'll send for Jack.
Okay, let's do it.
Scrambling communications upon entry will certainly provide an edge in this regard. Raphael climbed to the top of the rope in gym class. We can do this.
What does gym class have to do with anything?
And Nurse Darby will stand by in case of emergency.
Good.
Son, it's time to suit up.
Exactly. Get the drop down. Ooh.
Command, this is Space Bridge Control. We are under attack. Command, show your... Going down.
Oh, hello. Oh, shit. Oh, wow. These are their own weapons against them.
Strike team to base.
We made it.
Objective secured.
That's your cue.
Dang. All right, let's go. All right.
Bring me back a souvenir.
Maybe.
So, what happens when you have to go to the bathroom?
This is pretty crazy. He's going to Cybertron. He's about to head over there right now.
You're not bridging us straight to the Big V?
Vector Sigma's true location is shrouded in myth and rumor, Jack.
Wow. All right. Here we go. This is pretty cool. Wow. Okay. That is crazy. Wow. This is insane. I figured we would probably end up at Cybertron at some point. I would think it for some reason, but
I can't believe it. I'm actually on another planet.
yeah,
This isn't how I wanted you to see my home.
I get that. Yeah,
Roger. We're on Cybertron.
Yes!
that's crazy.
Thank goodness.
Wow.
Just keep the sightseeing to a minimum.
Ratchet said the card would guide us, but I don't see how or what I'm supposed to...
Back. There you go. Exactly.
Space Bridge Control, do you read me?
Huh?
Space Bridge Control, this is Breakdown. Come in, Space Bridge Control. Don't make
They
me
have
come
no
down
options.
there
They
and
can't
get
talk.
engine blocks.
Somebody say something.
You have 1 nanocycle to respond or...
This is Space Bridge Control. Situation normal.
Normal?
Had a surge, but it's fine now. How are you?
Keep up the good work, huh?
Will do.
That actually worked.
Control out.
Control out. Oh. Exactly. It's him. They're hiding the image. Oh.
Even our encryptions couldn't keep
Oh,
him from
shit.
the truth.
That way.
Honestly, I think some of the visuals are getting better on this show.
Toward Kaon?
Maybe I'm wrong, but
The Decepticon capital.
look at like you see what I'm saying? Like that was a really good shot.
This way.
Careful. They're gonna run into something here. Oh. What the hell? Oh, okay, that's it. The ending was kind of abrupt a little bit, like, oh, there's this creature that's following them under the bridge and all that, and they're like, okay, cut, like, to be continued, like, okay. I guess the bigger thing is that Orion Pax Optimus finds out that he actually is Optimus Prime, and he's like looking through the archive, and they put up a fake image of Optimus Prime. He's like, but why would Starscream say I look like Optimus Prime? And then he sees through the decryption, the bullshit. So that was good. I would say overall this episode is probably on par with episode 1 in terms of build up, because obviously we're all leading, I guess we're leading to, I'm guessing, Orion Pax part 3 or whatever, but it says to be continued, so I'm guessing it's a part 3 coming up. But I will say this, I think going to Cybertron really elevated this episode, in my opinion, because it's really cool to see the planet. Like, we've seen like flashback stuff and some small things here or there in the show so far, but to see Jack and RC actually on the planet is really cool. And the fact, I figured as much, there was something still alive on Cybertron. There's no way there isn't. So the fact that there's some sort of creature or whatever, or, you know, bot is chasing them or going to be tracking them and following them, interesting. I'm curious to know, because they were showing the visual of it a little bit, but they were kind of hiding what it actually looks like. But I think Jack and RC going to Cybertron is definitely really cool. And I don't know what it is, but it felt like in terms of the visuals of Cybertron, it looked really, really cool. It was the lighting and the design of the destruction of Cybertron and just everything that Jack is seeing through the helmet or whatever. Really cool stuff. It was really cool to see that. And I think they definitely did a lot of work on that for sure, because a lot of times in this show, and we have to be honest, a lot of the times they kind of go to very basic locations like giant caverns or forests with a bunch of, just the same looking things around them. Or if they go to an actual public place or something, there's not a lot of people there because of budget, and they have to be careful because every time they have something that they have to animate it and, build the model and everything and put it in. So the fact that they go to Cybertron and the lighting and the visuals and just everything they're doing with it, it looks really cool. So I think that that's definitely a really cool thing they did, and it elevated the episode overall. And I just think in general, some of the action scenes are getting a little bit better. Like they're doing some slow-mo shots, but they feel more impactful because it feels like when they do a slow-mo shot, like when RC took out one of those Decepticon bots or whatever, when they first got into the cavern or whatever, the cave, and then there was one and she did like a flip and then punch and then slow-mo punch. It feels like a hard hitting punch, and they're showing you the impact like even more so, like slowing it down so you see the impact of the hit. So I really appreciate that, and I think it's just they're finding new ways, I think, to make the action more interesting, because at times early on in the show in season 1, when they were just doing action scenes with just a bunch of firing weapons and stuff, and there was a couple hits here and there, but I think they started to find their stride. It seems like they're starting to find more of their kind of approach to action scenes and making them better. I definitely was noticing it towards the end of season 1, especially during the Optimus versus Megatron fight, during the whole kind of episode 1. Was it episode 1 but it wasn't. It was the one where Megatron had that vision and he was standing over Optimus and raised his arm and the sword or whatever, and the lightning strike that was a fantastic episode. Optimus fighting Megatron, of course, Unicron's waking up and all that. So I think they're definitely elevating that for sure. I like the fact that we had some interesting things to push Optimus to realizing who he is, because the opening of the episode was Starscream kind of talking to him, saying, "Oh, well, I mean, you just reminded me of Optimus. I got you confused with someone else. But Megatron, he told you that and that? Well, that's interesting, because, of course, he told you, what you wanted to hear, because there's a lot of deception with him." And so Optimus looks into it and is like, okay, like this is not adding up. Somebody's lying to me. And I think they found interesting ways for him to question, because I, for some reason, and this is good, didn't think the reason Orion starts to question everything is because Starscream shows up, right? I just didn't think that would happen, but it does happen at the end of episode 1, and it continues here in this episode 2 of this part here. And I think it really is elevating and changing the trajectory of what was planned. Because Megatron's whole plan was for Orion, Pax, Optimus to go through those Autobot files that basically they can't decrypt. Have him do it and then take him out. Like, it was a means to an end, just for him to basically, hopefully, show them locations of shit or information that will actually benefit them to hurt and take out the rest of the Autobots. That was the goal. So for them to use Starscream as a way to kind of turn the tides, even though he was already asking questions last episode, even more so he finds out the truth. He is Optimus Prime. But now what does he do with that? What happens next? Don't know. But I'm really curious about that in terms of what they do. I will say, having Ratchet get really upset at Raph, I understand, because they tested out on that little like remote car, and of course it destroyed. It gets blown up. It doesn't go through the bridge. Of course and that makes sense, because we were waiting for them to actually finish their own bridge, the Decepticons, for us to take over, which is exactly what we did. But Raph was just trying to help, and Ratchet was like, "What does this have to do with Jim?" It's like, calm down, man. He's just trying to help. He's trying to make you see the bigger picture, which Ratchet ends up coining and referencing that later in the episode. Like, he did hear what Raph was saying, but he wasn't ready to accept that or at least understand the point at the time, because he's seeing himself as a failure. He failed the Autobots. He failed Optimus, and basically the technology and stuff they have is not good enough to go to Cybertron. So I think Ratchet was just really being harsh and basically too hard on himself, but I understand why he did. I do. Now, in terms of where we're going to end up in the next episode, I think Optimus is going to find it. But the question is, how does Optimus then become Optimus Prime again, right? And I think it's because, well, we know it's because of Jack and RC, but is it to where he's going to start to realize he is Optimus Prime without actually like turning back into Optimus, and then eventually he's going to get his memories back? Or is he going to have some sense of who he really is, or understanding to what extent of who he actually is as Orion Optimus Prime? Sorry, I'm fucking tired. I'm exhausted. Sorry. I think that's what they're going to do. Like, Orion is going to realize who he actually is as Optimus, but he won't change, because his way of speaking is very different than Optimus in terms of, you are Starscream. Like, just the way some of the line delivery is kind of odd and kind of weirdly paced. But I think he's going to have some sense of who he actually is, and I think he's going to fight Megatron before he actually becomes Optimus Prime again, fully. So, I don't know. So far, like I said, these episodes have been okay. Like, when I say that, I'm not saying like they're bad or meh. But compared to like the last number of episodes in season 1, like, I don't think these episodes are on that level at all. They're not. But they're definitely way better than some of the really bad episodes we've had in season 1. Like questioning, like, what are they doing right now? But I know we're building up to some big shit here, because we're on Cybertron again. I think maybe there's something they discover on the planet as well, just throwing out a theory, that maybe will tie into some storylines later, because they went back to the planet. And I understand the whole point is to go and basically open up this Vex, or whatever they're calling it, this thing that they're going for. There might be something else there. Don't know what it could be, but there might be something else there that triggers something that then, falls back onto the Autobots later or whatever. Like, because at a point, there has to be other threats and other elements to this whole thing besides just Megatron and Starscream. So, yeah. Starscream, of course, reaching out for help. Not surprised at all. Of course he was going to do that. And he got what he wanted. He luckily knew where the space bridge was that they were building, because if not, he probably would have died in the process. Which they were willing to let him die. Like, they didn't cause him to be bleeding out or, leaking or whatever, but at the same time, they didn't have to save him. They did, though, but they were ready to leave. They were ready to let him bleed out and die. Kind of crazy. But then again, I get it. Starscream's a horrible individual. I understand. They did it because they traded information. So they still found a way, but still, I wouldn't have been surprised for a second if Starscream didn't know. They would have let him die. But he's too much of an important character to die, at least right now. But yeah. So overall, like I said, pretty decent stuff. Can't wait to see what happens next, and I'm really curious how they're going to continue on with this arc. And who knows, maybe Optimus becomes himself again next episode, maybe not. But regardless, it's a pretty fun journey so far with this season, and I'm loving the show overall. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm curious to know what you guys thought about this episode of Transformers Prime. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Talk to you guys soon. Peace out.